Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about the trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 And we are live. No better way to start out with that gold right there with the nonsense we are seeing right now from the mainstream media meltdown over January 6th. But it is the untitled political show. I guess we'll call it Cobra Outpost Tactical.
That sounds horrific. That sounds horrific.
It's whatever. This whole channel's a meme anyway. So, but yeah, we have a lot to talk about today. Thankfully, Tucker Carlson has just unloaded one of the biggest stories we have seen in a long time. And the meltdown has been exactly what you would expect. But first, we got Ryan from RK Outpost, the #1 super chat reader on the internet. Hello, Ryan.
That's the rumor. Only when it's not from my channel. Yes. But yeah, it's interesting. You know, all the media wanted to talk about for, but seems like 2 years was January 6th. Now they don't want to talk about it. Now they'd rather stay quiet about it. Tucker, hey, we don't want you talking about January 6th, Tucker. Why don't you shut the fuck up? Okay. It's really weird how that works, but I'm ready to rock and roll.
Oh, man. And we got a great guy to talk about a lot of the stuff that happened on January 6th, considering he's a former police officer. Suresh, how you doing, man?
I am doing amazing, and my mind has been blown for the last 48 hours. And I got to tell you, I have some inside scoop from some people who were formerly employed by the Capitol Police that I am so excited to share. And I'm actually, I haven't had a chance. It's going to be shared on my channel in the video that I'm editing now, but this is going to be the first time I'm speaking about it publicly since Tucker released his videos. And so I'm excited to talk about that today because you guys hear some of what I've heard. It's going to blow your mind.
Well, that is awesome. I'm happy to hear that. That's exciting news right there. So good stuff. I see all of you in the chat. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. I do appreciate it. You know, a lot of people on their birthday, they try to tell people it's their birthday so they can get super chats, but they don't tell you that. I'm not like that. I would love your super chats for my birthday. That's the only way my birthday gets better is if I get super chats. If I don't get super chats, it's not worth it. Obviously a lot of sarcasm there, but thank you guys so much. Last night's Tuesday night's main event, that was a banger, man. And that show is starting to become like its own kind of thing now. I think we offer something that few shows that have that type of structure offer with the super chat portion because of Ryan and because of Jay and all the laughing and Corn Pop. Shout out to Corn Pop, by the way. Corn Pop with the just the infinite amount of $1.99 super chats last night that made Ryan just read them over and over again. Jay laughing at it. It was a lot of fun. So really do appreciate you guys. So
if you type it, I'll read it. That's the rules.
All right, so let's start out right from the beginning. January 6th, Tucker Carlson. So Tucker Carlson received how many hours? Was it how many thousands of hours?
40,000 hours or something.
40,000 hours.
All of it, basically.
Of footage from Kevin McCarthy. Now, Kevin McCarthy, someone that was criticized a lot, and rightfully so, I believe, but he's the reason that this is happening right now, and he's probably catching a lot of hell from within. It's clear that both Democrats and Republicans are very upset about this story, but he didn't turn it over to just anybody. He didn't turn it over to Brian Stelter, okay? He didn't turn it over to Don Lemon, all right? He didn't turn it over to Chris Wallace. He turned it over to Tucker Carlson, and I think that signals exactly what his intent was here, to make sure he gets to the right person with the most reach that could get it out there and signal boost it in the biggest way possible. And that is what has happened now, showing specifically footage of the QAnon
shaman.
Whatever his name is. The guy with the makeup
Viking
and
hat.
all of that. So yeah, that guy. Now, look, there's a lot of stuff about January 6th that can be valid questions can, be asked about some of the behavior from some of the people there. The media decided to make this guy, Q Shaman, their face. He's the symbol of it all. He's become the Michael Jordan of January 6th, basically. He's the Jerry West. He's the logo. He's the definitive thing that everyone thinks about. That's the media's fault for making this guy the symbol of it. And now, after the footage that Tucker Carlson has released, this guy seems to be completely exonerated. And I think he should have some type of Nick Sandman case right now against the media and how he's been treated. He's currently still locked up right now, which is a fucking crime beyond belief. The cover-up is enormous. Elon Musk has gotten involved in this. So we're going to watch some videos here in a minute. But Ryan, what are your thoughts on all of this?
Well, I think that we talked about it when Kevin McCarthy had to go through his speaker vote. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, right? 13 times, or whatever the hell it was, they had to go through that vote. And you had those 19, 20 members of the Freedom Caucus that were standing their ground. And we talked about how that could be so important, how them taking the stand and forcing Kevin McCarthy to make them very specific promises, that could have a big impact. And this was one of those things they talked about. This is one of the promises that he made to the members of the House Freedom Caucus who refused to give him the votes he needed, was the January 6th stuff. And I think this is a really big step in doing good on that promise and making things right, to get all that footage out there. So we all had an idea that a lot of this stuff was happening. We'd heard stories from people like that. Heck, we even had one of the Jan 6 defendants come to, one of our events, and talk about their experience before and how messed up it was. But until you see it play out on a camera, that, yeah, not only were they let in, they were escorted. It's like they were on a damn guided tour of the place. And now it's starting to make a lot more sense why all these cameras were in such perfect position. Why there seemed to be no real panic or no worry about anything. A lot of these guys were screwed over. And yes, there's some stupid things that were done on January 6th. Certainly there were, right? Absolutely. But I think the vast majority of people are obviously have gotten completely screwed over. They've been, their rights have been trampled on. And these videos are doing a lot to bring that to light to everybody.
Yep, absolutely. Before we continue, and I'm going to toss it to Suresh. So are you guys able to watch the stream on Rumble? Because it's still showing that same thing for me, Ryan, but I got 8 people watching it.
I can't see anything on it.
Okay.
Jeremy doesn't understand how to use Rumble. So.
Well, I clearly fucking do, because I've ran several streams over there and I did this the same exact fucking way. Okay. So it's not my fault.
Rumble is not easy. Rumble is not easy.
Thank you. The smartest person on the panel agrees with me.
I don't have a problem with it. It's weird.
So I don't know. I don't know why, but I see that 8 people are watching, but no, it's still hung up in the video storage. Anyway, forget that. We're over here on YouTube. Let's keep the flow going. Suresh, as a former police officer in the tactical industry, trained, all that good stuff, what is your entire perspective on this? Take it whatever direction you want to go.
I got to tell you, the first thing that I noted in the videos that sealed the deal for me was the fact that this QAnon shaman guy, who is a Navy veteran, was being escorted through the building. And then the one particular part where the officers were trying to open a locked door for him to allow him entry, they were pulling on the door to try to let him in, but they're like, oh, it's locked. I guess we're going to have to find like another way in. And then there's another, and he has to walk through a crowd of 5 officers, maybe 6 officers, who were all just standing there hanging out. They're all just hanging out. And the 2 officers who were kind of guiding this QAnon guy through the building, walking with him, trying to open doors for him, walk right through this crowd of 5 or 6 officers and continue on their path. That right there showed me that this guy, who's now in jail for 4 years, was not the threat they made him out to be, because you could even spin it that the 2 officers were unsure that they could take him. So they were kind of just, guiding him. But when they approached the other 6 officers, it would have been 8-on-1. And they could have easily detained him, handcuffed him, what have you. But the fact that he was by himself, there was no fear of a mob attacking them if they tried to subdue him. All those stories that some officers are saying, they're like, oh, we didn't want to go hands-on with some of these people for fear of the mob. Okay, I'll even give you that, because that is a valid concern as a police officer. 3 officers go to try to arrest one guy, but then 20 people jump on you. Well, then that's a problem. But that was not the case with this. So that was the thing that was glaring to me. When I saw officers in the Senate chamber and they were leading a prayer, this was like the one guy was leading a prayer. It was this QAnon shaman guy. He was leading a prayer, actually praying for the officers. And you saw officers with their heads down praying as well. This is not anything like we were told it to be. And so my view initially was, I think it's blown out of the water. Yeah, there were a couple of bad apples there that, caused damage, broke in and went in and did some more damage. And I think we all kind of knew that. But as an officer, when you are there and your job is to protect the people there, and you're trying to let people in, you're trying to pull on doors to let this guy who's now in jail for 4 years, you're trying to let him into a room. On top of that, I'm sure you guys saw the interview of the black officer who was it's certified, it's verified. He voted for Joe Biden, the black officer, 22 years on the job. He's on tape calling for backup to protect the senators, and he got no response. Now, in a few minutes, I'm going to get into what the officers that worked with him told me and why they think that happened. But let me ask you something. You guys aren't cops. You guys never maybe were working a beat in a city. But I know for a fact that when I got on the radio and I called for backup and I called for help, everyone came, the supervisor, everyone was coming. You have a guy saying, hey, we got some people in here and I want to try to evacuate the senators. And no response. He's on radio. No response. No response. No response. That right there was a huge tell for any police officer who's ever done the job in anywhere in this country or anywhere in the world. And that is what I'm going to get into in a little bit.
Well, to that point, I mean, Trump offered National Guard support. Democrats refused it. Nancy Pelosi refused it. So this whole thing is so confusing to me because like some of the things that it appears that happened, it seems right out of a movie. Like, okay, were there people that were absolutely out of line at the Capitol that day? Yes. There's video of it. There's video of people tearing shit up, going through there. And I think that's insane. And you've got to be a complete idiot to put yourself in that situation. But the media has keyed in on this one guy who kind of did he trespass? Could you say he trespassed? I guess you could, but they've labeled him like a domestic terrorist. You know, like he's
anybody associated with that. Anybody that didn't even go in, anybody that was just outside hanging out, like anybody, they try to put a stigma on you. Like if you were just there, you have like for people that are just there. I know people who were just there. One of, tens of thousands of people that had the FBI come knock on their door to investigate, talk to their friends and family members, even though they didn't go in. Like the government has been working against these people. The mainstream media has been working against these people. Like we talked about in the beginning, they were perfectly happy to talk about this, perfectly happy to talk about anything related to January 6th when it was the right narrative. Now, all of a sudden, they want Tucker Carlson to stop talking about it.
Yeah. Yep. So right now I'm going to show this clip of Tucker Carlson. And this is a 5-minute clip of his, I think this is the day after when all of the meltdowns started going on. So this is from Benny Johnson right here. So let's watch this part.
But Democrats in the Senate, the Democratic leader in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, is not asking why. Instead, Chuck Schumer went on the Senate floor today to explode and to say that showing that video, evidence of wrongdoing by the federal government, including the security forces, the police department that Nancy Pelosi personally controlled, letting the public see any of that is a threat to democracy. Watch.
Last night, millions of Americans tuned in to one of the most shameful hours we have ever seen on cable television.
Christ, man.
Fox News host Tucker Carlson ran a lengthy segment last night arguing the January 6th Capitol attack was not a violent insurrection. I don't think I've ever seen a primetime cable news anchor manipulate his viewers the way Mr. Carlson did last night. I don't think I've ever seen an anchor treat the American people and American democracy with such disdain.
This is disgusting. This is the definition of projecting right here. For him to accuse Tucker of misleading. Holy shit. There's video evidence to show that his point was valid. He has exonerated this one guy that you guys have made the face of the entire insurrection. And it continues. It is not just Chuck Schumer. He's not the only person, because good old turtle boy, Mitch McConnell, and the many rhinos as well.
There's nothing that shameful that has ever appeared on American television in the history of the medium. And so, on the basis of that, the self-evident outrage of showing the public video that it paid for and has a right to see, Chuck Schumer called for the censorship of that video. Any information, and he did not dispute that it was accurate, that damages a storyline his party constructed and used must be squelched. And Schumer was explicit on that point. Because that video contradicted lies told by the Democratic Party, Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, Chuck Schumer demanded that our bosses pull this show off the air.
He's going to come back tonight with another segment. Fox News should tell him not to. Fox News, Rupert Murdoch, tell Carlson not to run a second segment of live. I urge Fox.
How is this real life?
Just playing the videos. Yeah.
Just like how is this? He's standing there and he is asking, he is demanding censorship. Holy shit.
Fox
News really unbelievable.
Order Carlson to cease propagating the big lie on his network and to level with their viewers about the truth behind the efforts to mislead the public.
Hey, pause it.
Is just asking for
the truth about the efforts to mislead the public. Did you hear what he said?
I love it.
He's exposing the truth about the efforts to mislead the public.
Here we go.
And not to run a second segment of lies. I urge Fox News to order Carlson to cease propagating the big lie on his network and to level with their viewers about the truth behind the efforts to mislead the public. Conduct like theirs is just asking for another January 6th to happen.
God.
It's a threat to democracy. Pull him off the air. A couple of obvious observations. You don't often see the Senate Majority Leader openly call for censorship on the floor of the Senate as if that was totally normal and didn't contradict the spirit and the letter of the First Amendment. But of course it does. But what's really happening here, what you're seeing is hysteria, the overstatement, the crazed hyperbole, the red in the face anger. What is that? Well, it's not outrage. Of course, it's fear. It's panic. Those videos, which we did not retouch, which we brought to you after running everyone by the Capitol Police to make certain that we didn't imperil anybody. We told you that last night. Those videos touch a nerve because they're a threat to the lies that Chuck Schumer has been telling for the last 26 months, and not just Chuck Schumer. We should also tell you that Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, was joined in this outrage by the Senate Minority Leader, and that would be a Republican, Mitch McConnell. And they were joined by a cascade of other Republicans, Tom Tillis from North Carolina, Mitt Romney from Utah, all sharing the same outrage. And from this, we learn two things. One, you're getting close to what they really care about. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why is it so important that they would degrade themselves by telling such obvious lies and calling for censorship? Why? What are they trying to protect? That might be worth exploring, and we plan to. And the second thing that we learned from this is that they're on the same side. The Senate Majority Leader joins the Senate Minority Leader.
Yep.
Tom Tillis, Mitt Romney. They're all on the same side. So it's actually not about left and right. It's not about Republican and Democrat. Here you have people with shared interests. The open borders people, the people like Mitch McConnell who are living in splendor on Chinese money. The people who underneath it all have everything in common are all aligned against everyone else. And that would include almost all news organizations in this country as well. And so if you're watching this, it might be kind of interesting to keep a list, because one thing we learned today is that they're all in agreement with each other. They kind of outed themselves. They sort of showed their membership cards and whatever club this is to the public. So keep a list. If you want to know who's actually aligned, despite the illusion of partisanship, we found out today.
Tucker is just crushing it right now, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Okay, thoughts on all of that, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, to have Mitch McConnell come out there, I it's beyond comprehension for me. Like,
Yeah.
I get some of the shady shit, I get some of the establishment stuff, but this is so blatant and obvious. How can you say that that you're trying to trick people or whatever by releasing more of the video? Like, by watching the video. It's not like Tucker's just making a bunch of claims. He's showing the videos. He's showing people what actually happened. He's showing people the truth. And to have Mitch McConnell come out there and say, I think that Tucker Carlson, I don't think that's not helpful to the American public. Like, to have him come out there and say that is ridiculous.
Yeah, and here it is.
You have him?
And
Yeah, it's fucking.
Here it is.
The Capitol Police has very serious concerns about the release of this footage. Was it a mistake by Speaker McCarthy to give access to Tucker Carlson of this security footage?
My concern is how it was depicted, which is a different issue.
The video.
Clearly, the chief of the Capitol Police, in my view, correctly describes what most of us witnessed firsthand on January 6th. So that's my reaction to it. It was a mistake, in my view, for Fox News to depict this in a way that's completely at variance with what our chief law enforcement official here at the Capitol thinks.
How did it depict anything? It showed video. It showed video, unaltered video.
This is so awesome.
Holy shit.
This is
It's
so awesome.
mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. And again, you've got Democrats and Republicans, the Senate majority and minority leaders. And I just think this kind of continues to show you why the system itself is broken, and you know, it's unbelievable, and they have no shame whatsoever. The question, the whole thing is what is Kevin McCarthy's angle in all this? He's got to be pissing them off. They've got to be furious with him right now. You know what I mean? And I guess that's what I'm fascinated with right now is how are they feeling about Kevin McCarthy turning this footage over to Tucker Carlson? Because clearly they don't want this footage turned over. Clearly this is upsetting both sides right now. And McCarthy's been someone that a lot of people have criticized, and there was a lot of concerns with him. But this is fascinating to me how this is all playing out. All right, Suresh, where are you at on it?
I don't know how anyone can look at this and say this is something that should not be happening. I have yet to hear what I've heard, and we've all heard it, is releasing this footage is a threat to Capitol security. And I've heard that. Yet no one has said in what capacity, how is it a threat to Capitol security? No one has said that. They're just saying it is. So like, it's like when people say, oh, you know, this is a threat to national security. How so? It just is. Well, what do you mean? It just is. Like, you can't do that, right? You got to back it up or else no one believes you, except if you have some sort of mental illness where they say, listen, this is releasing this video is a threat to national security or to the, you know, Capitol security. Okay, how? We don't know. How is it a threat? We can't tell you. Wait, what? They haven't done that. They haven't done that. They have not explicitly explained how, showing the actual foot. And, you know, Tucker put it great. He put it great. This is footage that is recorded on taxpayer-purchased cameras in a taxpayer-purchased and run building for the taxpayers. So this is a building, by the way, that they do actually give tours to the public to. So
or did.
In what capacity is Tucker
That's a good
releasing
point, though. That is a good point about the tours and stuff. You know,
give tours. They give public tours. I think I took a tour of it in 8th grade. They give tours to the public throughout this building. And in some cases, if there's not in session, they give you access to some of the rooms that you see here. I'm like, okay, so how is this a threat? I'm not saying it's not. I don't believe it's not, but like, okay, fine. Tell us how. Tell us how this compromises in any way. On top of it, he ran all the footage by the heads of the Capitol Police Department, and they verified that none of the footage that they put on Fox News was going to in any way compromise the security of the Capitol. They said so. Now Chuck Schumer now knows better than the people who run the Capitol Police. Mitch McConnell knows. Like, they said it's okay. This is okay to show the public. So Tucker's showing it to the public. So why is no one asking that question? Why is no one raising their hand saying?
And that goes back to the journalists, where the journalists won't ask the real questions.
Right,
you know, like when these politicians spew that stuff, and then you like a follow-up question. Well, how is it a threat? How is it? Can you give us a specific example? Yada yada yada.
I think that some of what McConnell was saying is that, hey, look, the head of Capitol Police said that the event that occurred, that January 6th was a threat to officers, was a threat to these things. I think that's some of where like that statement's coming from. And like, this is what I think. I think that there was some people that were fighting with police. I think there were some police officers who were scared of what was going on. But I also think throughout all these different places, throughout the entire Capitol building, different things were happening. There are some cases where officers just let people right in. There are some cases where officers were fighting with people. Some cases where officers were starting fights with people. Like there's a bunch of different things that happen. To paint it with a broad brush and say every single person acted this way and every single cop acted this way is wrong. It's just inaccurate. We've seen videos showing several different things, and I don't think there's a problem with releasing every last bit of footage out there to give people as close to the whole picture as you could possibly have.
Yeah, again, as Ryan said, they have been nonstop January 6th, January 6th, January 6th, January 6th, and now suddenly now we don't want to talk about it. Again, if you play all of the footage, there's going to probably, in my opinion, this is just a guesstimate, okay? If you played literally all the footage, and of course there's more footage than we could ever fully watch, okay?
It might be unsafe because we might be able to point out and identify the fucking feds that are in the group that were instigating some of these things. That's who it might be a danger to, in all honesty. That's who it might be a threat to. The informants that were there that may have initiated some of the violence that day.
Well, see, that's the thing is there was actual violence. There were breaking of windows. There was destroying of property. And they have not focused in on any of the people that are on video doing that as individuals.
Jeremy, that's a great point.
Makes you wonder.
Point. There are now 4 people who have been identified as actively causing damage, breaking the glass, and breaching the Capitol. And those 4 people are not in prison. So on top of that, as we know, we have Mr. Epps. Mr. Epps, who's on video, egging everyone on to go in. People are calling him a Fed. People are telling him, people are saying, don't listen to this guy. He's a Fed. He's trying to get everyone to, break into the Capitol, breach the Capitol. So the people were holding back. And then a rogue group appeared out of nowhere and started breaking the glass the following day and trying to breach the Capitol. Now, why are none of those people in jail right now for 26 months? What, like, to me, those are the things that scream something is shady here. Why is Ray Epps not in jail? And why are those 4 people who have been identified actively breaking glass and breaking the door down? Why are those 5 people not in jail right now? If I'm going crazy and I'm saying, hey, listen, January 6th was the worst thing that happened in this country. Yeah, it was worse than 9/11. Yep, it was worse than Pearl Harbor. I'm with Kamala on those statements. I'm also going to say, why are those 5 people not in jail right now?
Exactly. And you can't say one without the other. You can't say it's the worst thing in the history of our country, but 4 people that are on video that were violently doing things on that day that you say is the worst day ever, you're okay with them not being locked up. You can't have both. You can't have one without the other. It's 100% perfect point. Perfect point. The chat really liked Ryan's Fed comment. They really feel in that one. So
no. It takes one to know one. Look at my hair.
Oh man. But yeah, so this thing is, I think this is going to spiral and this is going to get big. Now, the other part of it was that Elon Musk has put a signal boost on this, which I think was significant. I mean, anytime Elon comments on anything on Twitter, it's going to just put a whole new set of eyes on it. Not necessarily people that are into politics or follow politics. The guy has 120 million followers on Twitter. And literally if he interacts with anything or anybody, it's just, it automatically puts it in a different stratosphere. So not only did he comment,
it's like he owns the thing or something.
It's almost like he owns it. Hell, this is before he owned the damn thing. He had that type of power though. So when he commented on it and he essentially said, this is, insane. The public was misled. He called out Mitch McConnell for, not even knowing what side of the aisle this guy falls on anymore. He called out the January 6th committee, and he retweeted the video that Tucker released, and I think those are all very powerful tools, and all of this is to getting more awareness on this topic, because I think this is truly one of the more insane stories of my entire lifetime, of seeing how this has been portrayed. I'll never forget that day and watching it, and the imagery from that day was really bad. The optics were horrible.
It's because you knew how it would be spun. Like immediately you could feel it. Like you could feel what the mainstream media was going to say, how they were going to do it. And it was, listen, to see like smoke rising from the Capitol, like, you know what I mean? It was weird imagery. And
and then
a lot of it
flags.
Exactly. And I think a lot of it was planned to look bad.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, let's not pretend that there was not, like, again, do I think that there were feds or Antifa people that were, dressing up as MAGA? Absolutely do. Do I think that there were angry Trump supporters out there? 100%. No question about that. And I think that if you really want the truth to be investigated, then I think that you're not going to have the narrative that you want, because ultimately, if you get the hard truth of that, what you're going to find that there was corruption from within. You're going to find that you had people from the Antifa and the BLM side that were, infiltrating to make it look bad. You're also going to find Trump supporters that were absolutely out of line and deserve to be held accountable. You're going to find that. But you're not going to get this Donald Trump incited insurrection out of it if you actually uncover the truth. And that's ultimately, this was all about making sure Donald Trump could not run for president once again. That's what the whole goal of this entire thing was to make sure Trump doesn't run again. And that's clearly fallen apart on them. They have tried so damn hard to make this about Trump and trying to make it where he can't run. And they're not interested in the truth. They were never interested in the truth. When you have these nonsensical politicians saying, and they have been saying it, Suresh was not being sarcastic or using hyperbole. Politicians in this country have been saying that this is worse than 9/11. They're still saying it to this day, that it was worse than 9/11. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine actually believing that? And I don't think they do, but it's part of we have to get rid of Donald Trump narrative. So do we think this is going to go away, or do we think this is going to continue to just go nuclear in terms of the coverage? Like, how do we think the next week or two on this is going to go? And do we think that there's actually any true justice is going to get served? Is this Q Shaman guy going to get out? Are they going to release this guy in the next? No. Is he going to get out in the next 6 months and be exonerated? You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I think if they're planning this out, this could just be empty from Kevin McCarthy. It could be, hey, let me hand all this over to Tucker, let Tucker blow this up, but we're not really going to take any action. Right? Could be that. Or they could use a lot of this energy and actually, with these investigative committees, with these committees that they formed in the new Congress, actually bring this in front of that and take government action on it and investigate and do something for these prisoners. There are people, Marjorie Taylor Greene, love her or hate her, like she's visited those people. She's talked a lot about the J6 people. So like there are people in Congress that are willing to push this and willing to take it to the next level. But will it be able to happen in a approved format through a Republican Congress Jan 6 committee style thing? And I don't know. I don't have much faith that it'll happen within the next several months, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's mind blowing that we're even having to ask these questions. And I talked about this on CobraCast a couple days ago, but I said I've kind of been caught up on how kind of crazy the Andrew Tate story is, that he's been locked up without any actual, being charged of anything. This situation with this Q Shaman guy is far worse than that, because that's in our own fucking country. Like Andrew Tate made the decision to move to Romania because of the lax laws and the system was corrupt over there. He's admitted all of that. This guy lived in our country. Again, Was he an idiot for going inside? I think so. I think anybody was an idiot for walking in that Capitol in that situation. You got to be smarter than the situation, but that doesn't mean that you should be put in, doesn't deserve this. And again, I'm just going to keep going to the Nick Sandmann thing because, I never would imagine he was going to be able to sue the pants off of the mainstream media for what they did to him. I have to believe that this guy is going to be able to do it. I have to believe that when his sentence is up, or if he gets out early, or if Trump gets back in office and pardons him, or whatever the case may be, I have to believe that he's going to be able to take the media to the cleaners. I have to believe that. I have to believe that there's some type of justice for this guy in this country. And I guess if it doesn't, then it's going to break my faith in a lot of things, because you want to see, ultimately, if somebody goes through something like this, you want to see them, you want to see it come full circle and him get his retribution on that. So I don't know.
They can't.
All right.
They can't let him out. They can't let that happen. It would make their entire story crumble. And that's why it can't happen. I feel bad for the guy, but they kind of passed the point of no return with that. So there's no way they could release him early and then let him subsequently file a lawsuit and then subsequently settle with him in any capacity, because then it's going to show what they did. Now it's show anyone with a brain in between their ears is realizing what they did. Anyone who was alive during the summer of 2020 in those riots where they were burning the cities down and they were calling them mostly peaceful, and they're saying what happened at the Capitol was worse than 9/11. So like anyone with a brain knows that this is a complete bullshit story. And the tapes that Tucker is playing now, no one's surprised. No, most people aren't surprised by it. People just calmly walking around, some people bending over, picking things up, putting things back where they fell from. No one, I don't think that was a surprise. And people walking around taking selfies, taking photos. I mean, we all kind of knew that that's what was going on in there. I want to see, once again, as someone who is going to just play devil's advocate and, play the side of Kamala, where is the footage that we've all seen? It was quickly taken down, excuse me, of the police officers that were opening the gates, the police officers that were opening the doors. We know who they are. We could see clearly who they are in the videos. The videos are out there. Where are these police officers today? Why were they not charged? Why were they not fired? Now, the police officer who was calling on the radio, for backup to help protect the senators, he was fired because he donned a Trump hat to get through the alleged Trump supporters. Now, there are also multiple reports from Capitol police officers. These reports were not filed. Multiple reports of people exiting vehicles and someone handing them all red MAGA hats as they exited their vehicle, and these people then subsequently making their way to the front of the crowd in an attempt to breach the Capitol. Now, why isn't that being investigated? If you are truly outraged by what happened on January 6th, why would you not want to know who these people were that did that? They're on video. And why would you not want to know and hold accountable the police officers that opened the gates, pushed aside the barricades, and in some cases opened the doors? Why don't we want to go after them and say, hey, who are you? Why did you do this? No, there's nothing. So that's where it all falls apart for me. That's where you start seeing, okay, they don't want you to know this. These are were they real police officers? Were they undercover federal agents dressed as Capitol police officers? We don't know. Let's find out. Let's bring them in. But it's like with Ray Epps. They don't want to talk to him. They don't want to let. It's shady as can be. Now, in talking to police officers and some officers that are no longer with the Capitol Police, their mindset is, and Ryan, you might be able to relate to this. If you call for backup in a certain situation because you are trying to protect, you're calling on your radio to protect people that your job is to protect them, and you are not even acknowledged, and they are not sending the help you need, that is an intentional stand down order that they are not putting out over the radio. So there are some people who worked for the Capitol Police during that time that felt that that call for help was ignored because there was something going on behind the scenes where they wanted the people to breach that chamber and go after the senators. And I got to tell you, based on what I'm hearing now and based on what I'm seeing on that video, they fired the guy who, because he didn't get an answer on the radio to protect the senators, he took it on his own accord without backup to protect the senators and get them out of there. They fired that guy. Now ask yourself, why would they fire that guy? Why would they fire the guy who was actually trying to protect the senators, calling for help? Could it be that they wanted the mob to breach and they wanted the mob to cause harm to the senators to make it even worse? And this guy foiled their plan as a police officer to not let that happen? That is what is the sentiment of some of the people I talked to that actually work there.
Yeah, like if in that situation, there's only a couple reasons why something like that would happen. Could it be that everybody is so overwhelmed that no one had an opportunity to respond? Maybe, I guess. But you'd think, like, for the people that are in that situation, Stretch, for the people you've talked to, they would have a good idea if that was the case, because they would hear everything else going on. They would hear the cat, like, you know what I mean? As someone who's been in situations where there's a lot of people frantically calling, whether it's over walkie-talkie or whether it's over sound power phones, whatever it may be, right? Those things can get dropped, things can get ignored, things can get missed in very chaotic situations. But you realize why those things happen. You understand everything else going on. For the people that you're talking about, I trust their gut feeling, being in the situation and being there and knowing and realizing something's not right.
Yeah, and I mean, with the reports that, you know, that Trump was offering National Guard support, Nancy Pelosi denied that. With how the media's portrayed all of this, with how they've ignored obvious things that I think could be very negative in like showing specific things that happened that day. But for some reason, I guess a lot of those things that they could show would also show that the police were doing nothing about it. So they don't really want to talk about those stories. You know what I mean? They don't want to show those clips. And it's like, you're not really worried about what happened. You're only worried about building the narrative around what you want people to think happened. And eventually people are going to wise up to it. And yeah, I think that this story is going to continue to have some major traction right now. And hopefully people like Joe Rogan pick it up and talk about it. Hopefully because that's really the only next step up is Joe Rogan from Tucker. It's really kind of Tucker, and then there's Joe Rogan, and that's kind of that's the top of the line, really. So I'm hoping Joe Rogan will talk about this and bring light to it as well. And I hope that the story continues on. I hope it doesn't just fade away. And I feel like it's not. I feel like it's going to get some legs at least for another week or two.
Oh, this is like I mean, it's the news cycle, right? It's going to be there for a week. You know what I mean? The next week, people are going to be talking about that, probably continue, maybe push over the weekend, and then we'll see from there.
They're going to bury it. They're going to bury it because, like Jeremy, you said it, up until now, for the last 26 months, they've talked about nothing but this. But now, mark my words, now that this video is out and Tucker has exposed them, the mainstream media is going to do everything possible not to utter the words January 6th. Because if they do, people are automatically going to go back to what Tucker showed. And all he did was play the tape, and they don't want to see you. God forbid you watch the tape and form your own opinion. They don't want that. They called playing the actual footage putting out lies. Think about that for a second. You had one of the highest level politicians in our country saying playing actual footage of an incident is disseminating lies.
Mm-hmm.
That
wild.
right there. Once I heard Chuck Schumer say that, that was it. I don't care. Like I say this all the time. I don't care if you're black, white, gay, straight, trans. I don't give a shit what you are. The second you hear a man saying that playing the videotape of an event
unedited
is disseminating lies, that's it. That's it. It's over for me. And to me, that was the greatest tell of all. These videos were already reviewed by the Capitol Police to be safe for public dissemination. That right there was the greatest tell of all. I'm telling you right now, this is going to wake a lot of people up. I already talked to a few of my friends. Actually, one of my friends texted me after the first part one with Tucker, and he's a hardcore Democrat. He texted me. He said, "Did you watch Tucker?" I said, "Of course I did. I watched Tucker, MSNBC. I watch it all." And he said, "I got to tell you, I'm a little shocked at what I saw. I thought it was a lot worse." So that right there, that hardcore Democrat just that little switch of, wait, this isn't quite what they said. That's what they want. That's what they fear the most. And that is what they're going to try to push away. Mark my words, they are going to do everything pop. And now watch. The next thing you're going to see is on the social media outlets, anyone talking about January 6th from the viewpoint of the actual footage that Tucker put out there, you're going to get your video taken down. You're going to get your comment banned. Watch. That is going to be the new COVID. Watch what happens. Yeah. I'm saying within the next 2 weeks on Instagram, we're going to see a January 6th banner. That's my call.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually a really good analysis of it for sure. So, and yeah, I mean, so I know Tucker, we know he has more coming out. I don't know how much more he's got coming out, but clearly he's got a lot of footage. And so, I mean, because I mean, I think
he's going to release more shit. Like, you know, I think he's going to dribble it out there, which is a good thing. You know, it keeps it in the public for longer. Instead of the binge model, the weekly release, basically.
Let's see. William Smith says, you probably drive a smart car. No, motherfucker. I drive a fucking Mustang GT. All right. And it's fucking loud as fuck, and it'll make your mom's panties drop. So go fuck yourself. There you go. All right.
And it's white. I hope that triggers you too.
That's right.
Yeah. So, ultimately we're going to see how this plays out. I'm excited that it's happening. And I think the momentum continues to build for Trump 2024. I'll say that the momentum continues to build. And, that makes me very, very happy. Now, we're not going to keep this. We try to keep this show around an hour and a half. This has been our biggest show yet. We are at peak viewership for this show. We are about to hit 1,800 viewers. It's the biggest show we've ever had for our untitled political show. If you're just tuning in, this rotates between this channel and Patriot Outpost every single week. So 1 week it's here, next week it'll be on Patriot Outpost, Ryan's political channel. So if you like what you see, you need to subscribe to that. You should also be subscribed to The Situation with Suresh. Suresh is from 221B Tactical. They do a lot of our merch, and there's a lot more that they're going to be doing for us too. So shout out to Suresh, 221B Tactical, to Ryan. And also, Ryan, can you tell everybody what we announced yesterday?
I sure can. I was literally ready to share it because we are at peak viewership here. If you guys haven't known, I've worked with Meta PCs for a while. They're awesome people that don't want to cancel us for our opinions. They don't give in to the woke mob. But Meta PCs, they do custom built gaming PCs. They do pre-built gaming PCs, or if you just need one for editing, for streaming, whatever you might need. We have officially partnered with them. They sent us some awesome rigs with some custom wraps. That's one of them that you're seeing right there. But yes, Geeks and Gamers and Meta PCs. You can use code GEEKS, GEEKS, for a discount. So please do check them out. On our landing page, we do have some suggested ones if you don't really know what you're looking for. If you do know what you're looking for and want to custom build it, you're certainly free to go to the Meta PCs website. You can look for whatever you want, whatever budget you're looking for, or custom build your own. And just use that promo code GEEKS, and you'll get that discount.
Hell yeah. And shout out to Meta PCs. And I know like Ruthie's dropping links. So please guys go over there and let them know that, you know, you heard about them from Geeks and Gamers. And we're really excited about that. Now, one thing I wanted to show really quick before I start reading some super chats. Did you guys see The View kind of have a meltdown over all this?
Over
yeah,
what?
I know. Over the January 6th stuff. Oh, it's oh my goodness. But before we do that, I do want to show you guys. Did you see this clip right here of Biden? This is terrifying. Look at this. Look at this.
Told you. A 70-year-old man escorted an 80-year-old man.
We are so fucked. We are so.
You can't even walk.
Like Chuck Schumer is like 70, right?
Oh
He's
my
gotta
God. This is so troubling.
This is terrifying, dude. Like
Chuck Schumer's
what the
72.
hell? So this man knows he never knows where he's at. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He says the most cringe things imaginable. And now
He like if you've watched him walk over the past couple years, he has that like old person shuffle where they're afraid to fall. And I mean, he probably should be. He's falling up the fucking flights of stairs. He's falling off his bike. He should be worried about falling. That is the way he should walk, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So you're right. You're right. That's how you move around when you're that frail.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So right here, that's Whoopi Goldberg. This is their January. We're not gonna play the whole thing. It's 4 minutes, but just listen to the screeching.
Last night, Tucker Carlson took a page from George Orwell's 1984 and told his viewers to reject the evidence of their eyes and ears. Take a look.
The crowd was enormous. A small percentage of them were hooligans. They committed vandalism. You've seen their pictures again and again. But the overwhelming majority weren't. They were peaceful. They were orderly and meek. These were not insurrectionists. They were sightseers. Footage from inside the Capitol overturns the story you've heard about January 6th. Protesters queue up in neat little lines. They give each other tours outside the speaker's office. They take cheerful selfies and they smile. They're not destroying the Capitol. They obviously revere the Capitol.
The audience is laughing. It's so ridiculous. Well, how can you not? Especially after you've, heard some of his emails about Dominion and all the stuff going on. I mean, listen, I don't know what he's playing at, but people saw what they saw. They saw what they saw. And they've seen what's gone down with it. And no matter what, you can't put this monkey back in the cage. You can't. This was insurrection. It just was what it was. So people.
What about the Summer of Love? What about the Summer of Love? What was that? You know how they don't want to talk about the Summer of Love, but this was an insurrection.
Peaceful.
Very upset. His viewers. Maybe they're going to buy it. I don't know. What do you think? Are they going to buy it?
A note to his editor. That was a bad shot. The B-roll of like, there were thousands here. A small percentage as it's like clawing down the building. That was a mistake on the editor's point. But
No, it wasn't. No one has a problem showing you exactly what happened. Like you're talking from a perspective of a leftist. No one has any issue admitting that there were people that day that need to be held accountable, that were clearly in violation, that were clearly, breaking the law. That's not a problem. No one is. That's what a leftist tactic where you want to just ignore that happened so you can tell your version of the story. But the difference is Tucker Carlson is just telling you what happened and letting you make up your own mind. So.
Literally sit there and think, like, don't treat me like I'm stupid. Like, as you're watching the video, and we saw it live, but even the clips he's showing, using words like meek, sightseer, they obviously revere it. This is literally a building with rules, and you've got people breaking windows. At worst, you've got injuries and a death. But
4 people died that day.
4 people, okay, but
4 people didn't die, did they?
Lie. That's a lie.
That's not true. Yeah.
That's a lie.
People died.
One person died. It was murdered by a police officer.
That's it, right?
Actually got it.
Yeah. Say her name, View.
The point here is take away that even. They were destroying the building. You're watching glass. You're watching a stampede. You're watching their outfits.
Right.
They're telling you what you're going to do. Steve Bannon says, remember on that podcast, he said, all I can say is strap in. All hell is going to break loose tomorrow. That's not a call for tourists. Like, that is not something.
Jesus Christ.
So think about this. And I want everyone listening and watching right now to think about this. This is the next level of gaslighting, right? So gaslighting, for those of you listening and watching, gaslighting comes from a play that was out decades ago, where the husband was slowly turning down the oil on the gas lamps throughout the house. So everything was slowly getting darker in the house. And when the wife was going to the husband to say, it's getting darker in here, like, do you feel like it's getting darker in here? He kept saying, no, what do you mean it's getting darker in here? I don't know what you're talking about. No, it's not getting darker in here. And that's where the term gaslighting came from, because he was turning down the oil in the lamps around the house and telling her it was fine. Now, can you imagine that? So that's one thing. But folks, what we're seeing now is there's a video of the husband turning down the gas lamps. And we're watching the video of the husband turning down the gas lamps. And now someone is saying, you're watching this video of the husband turning down the gas lamps, but it's simply not true, people. It's just, it's not what you're seeing. They're almost telling you that what you are seeing with your own eyes don't form your own opinion, and what you're seeing is simply not true. Think about that's gaslighting to the nth degree. That's like on steroids. And that, to me, is absolutely terrifying. And everyone should be terrified by listening to those. I mean, I don't know who watches The View anymore, but can you imagine a state where you're watching something with your own eyes on video, and they're saying, don't believe what you're watching, And guys, just one more thing here, and because we got quite a few people in here, this is something that we need to be very cognizant of. And Tucker made mention of it. And this is what everyone needs to be mindful of. There are people on the Republican side as well that don't want this video out. They don't want Tucker doing what he's doing. This is not a right-left thing. Think about how many Republicans are on the side of censoring Tucker Carlson so you guys don't see this video, so you guys can't make a decision based on videotape. There are Republicans out there. So ask yourself, just sit back and ask yourself, why? Why would there be Republicans also not wanting me as an American to see what actually happened there? That's the biggest question we have to ask ourselves from seeing this, because we all kind of knew what the reality was, what happened in there. That's the even bigger concern right now. And everyone should be deeply concerned. And the people I'm talking to in D.C., that's what they think people are missing.
And I think that's what Tucker was alluding to when he said, when they're both that upset, then we're starting to get closer to what they really don't want us to know.
Yes.
And I really like that line. I thought that was a fantastic line from him. So I'm loving that this is being brought up, and I love that Democrats and Republicans both are basically tipping their hand. They're showing their cards now. They're showing that they're on the same side. There's really no difference in them. That's why I have said consistently, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I don't align with either one of these parties. I'm a Trump guy. That's it. But being Trump is a Republican, I will support the Republican Party that he wants, the candidates that he's interested in, because it'll help him do what he needs to be done. And he may not have the best candidates all the time. Oz was terrible. Herschel Walker was clearly a bad candidate. He's not perfect, but he did, want Kevin McCarthy as well, who was someone that a lot of us, me included, were not big fans of. And he's the reason that Tucker has this footage now. So I have no faith in the two-party system, though, and I haven't for a long time. Democrats are worse than Republicans, but Republicans are fucking terrible in their own right. So, okay, so we need to read some super chats. What do you got, Ryan? You got anything?
No, I was just thinking about a debate between Herschel Walker and John Fetterman. That was just like rolling through that in my mind, like what that would look like. So,
oh god.
So.
I mean,
is John Fetterman still in the mental hospital?
I mean, I think he's actually dead, brain dead, but I haven't heard from him.
What was it? There was a picture that I saw going around about him, where I guess it was proof of life or something, but I don't know if it was real.
His family's having a good time though. His whore wife's out vacationing without that brain dead potato. So good for her.
If he died, they wouldn't tell us.
Yeah, I know.
They wouldn't tell us.
Well,
man,
he'd probably get replaced with his wife.
Probably. I mean,
I don't know
if
that's even. I don't even know what. I don't know what happens if.
I believe when a senator dies, they get replaced by the governor of that state. Am I wrong, or is there like temporarily until there's a special election? Let me check. What happens if
what a disaster? Dies? What a disaster! And over on Streamlabs from Jenna, 50. We got a 50. Happy Grift Day. Kapow. Thank you, Jenna. Appreciate that.
All right, look, all right. I gotta say this because I literally just fucking had a gut instinct, and I'm like 1000% right. If a vacancy occurs due to a senator's death, resignation, or expulsion, the 17th Amendment allows state legislatures to empower the governor to appoint a replacement to complete the term or hold office until a special election can take place.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
There you go.
It was rattling her up there somewhere.
Yep. There you go. We got Bruce for 20. Happy birthday, brother. I hope this insane Geeks and Gamers crew just keeps growing and seeing incredible success. Thank you, Bruce. I appreciate you, buddy. I Canalus, on this day many years ago, two cousins welcomed their baby boy in the world. Happy birthday, you inbred weirdo. Seriously, though, happy birthday, Jeremy. Thank you, I Canalus. Appreciate that. Bruce Flash for 5 says corn pop for 2. You miss corn pop, Ryan?
No.
Sophie says happy birthday, Jeremy. Right back at you, Sophie. Thank you. And can't wait. Can't watch at the moment. Have fun. Thank you. Zenny Biscuit, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Mainstream media. David for 2. We have the same birthday. I'm 31 today. I wish I was 31 today. I'm a little bit older than that, unfortunately. So, look, guys, you can come in and talk shit in the chat. We have no rules against that. If you spam the chat, you're going to have to be dealt with. So, thank you to Jay Hellstorm for getting that. No spam. Take that fucking spam and shove it up your ass. We don't want that here. You can talk shit. You can criticize. You can say whatever you want within reason, but do not spam the chat. That's the only definitive rule. America the Free for 5. I love the leftist tears. Thank you. Samurai Vader, Jeremy, my N-word. Happy birthday. Thank you. Crash Mando, happy birthday, Jeremy. Thank you. Let's see. Mr. Bentham says for 20, this is just a regular super chat. Nothing to do with your birthday. Well, thank you. Let me see. I'm going to check and see if there's anything that's not like birthday related that I can read. And if not, I'll cut these guys loose and I'll just read the birthday stuff. I think we're pretty much done there. So what somebody said the Q Shaman pled guilty. So he did plead guilty. I think, and I don't know the details of that. Like, I mean, I know he pled guilty, but was that because he was trying to get a shorter sentence? What's the
it's because he didn't want to spend 20 years in jail.
Right.
These people are getting fucking railroaded.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't think that we can necessarily hold him accountable for that, considering he was probably just, he probably wanted to reduce the sentence as much as possible. I don't think that means that doesn't discredit the actual video evidence that we're seeing from Tucker. So, you know what I mean? So I don't think that has anything to do with it.
It might make things difficult in terms of him like getting any being able to sue somebody. You know what I mean? If you do admit, if you plead guilty, it might prevent you from being able to take action like that in the future.
Yep. Lance Martinez says the Q shaman wasn't just American. He was a Navy veteran that loves his country enough to be there for it, fight for it. And this is how he gets treated when he walks into his capital that he fought for. That's why I'm really happy Tucker, took care of, or at least put a signal boost on this, because more people need to be aware of it. So I can't imagine how that guy's feeling today. Let's see. Joe's talking about it with Michael Malice today on his podcast. Is Michael Malice on Joe Rogan today? If Michael Malice is on, it's going to get talked about then. So that's good.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that. Jerk off Juggernaut for 5 gifted memberships to the D-Day Cobra channel. Thank you. We also got 5 gifted membership from Scott McKenzie. Thank you for that. All right. So I'm going to read the rest of these super chats. So you guys, Ryan, tell them where they can find you.
Ryan Kennel RK Outpost, where I talk about entertainment and pop culture. Patriot Outpost is where this stream will be next week, Wednesday at the same time, 1 p.m. Eastern, over on Patriot Outpost.
All right, man. And you're not going to be on Fortnite tonight, are you?
Not if you're giving me that out. Fuck no.
No, you don't have to be.
Okay, perfect.
I just wanted to plug Fortnite real quick. Suresh, where can they find you, man?
Of course, everything 221B Tactical, Instagram, Facebook, if anyone still uses Facebook, at 221B Tactical, and of course the YouTube channel 221B Tactical. And if you check out the website, we got a lot of new stuff coming out, and then also find your Geeks and Gamers merch, and now newly launched Epic Verse merch. So you can head over there to 221btactical.com to grab that stuff. And then of course, my personal channel, at The Situation with Suresh, and on Suresh_actual on Instagram. I'm going to have my own review of the Tucker Carlson J6 videos, and with some of the information I disclosed today, some of my conversations with people in DC, and my experience not only as an officer and talking to other officers there. So that's going to be over on The Situation with Suresh. So head over there on the YouTube channel, and we got more stuff coming. And I got some gifts arriving today for when I take my pilgrimage to the Geeks and Gamers home. So I'm happy to be coming like Santa Claus in March.
Nice. It's going to be awesome.
Yes.
So, well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I'm going to run through these super chats, and we'll see you guys next week. So go support these guys on their channels.
All right,
bye guys. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Bye. All right. So we're going to read super chats, everybody. Suresh, you know how to leave?
Of course I know how to leave. I just want to hang out to read some of them with you.
Do you want to stay? You want to stay?
I'm just going to hang out just to read a couple of them.
Yeah.
I got like 3 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. I can tell Ryan is tired. So I was like, let me let Ryan. He probably wants to record 5 or 6 more videos.
I know.
Crash Mondo says, happy birthday, Jeremy, for 5. Thank you. Jackson Perez, happy birthday, brother. Nice to see Suresh. There you go. Nice to see Suresh. Python Bacon, let the establishment burn. Absolutely. Doc Holiday, happy birthday. I'm returning to California in 2 weeks to visit family behind enemy lines, unarmed intelligence op. Pray for me, guys. Thoughts and prayers for you. 100%. 100%. Ruben Christopher Haynes for member message. Happy birthday, Cobra. They fucked around and now they're going to find out. I will stand. They effed with my peace. Ruben Christopher will rise. Think AJ and JP combined. I will use love and my Sigma sexiness to connect with all Americans. Shout out to you, bro. Down 75 pounds is what he said last night. Down 75 pounds for Ruben. That is awesome. So really happy for you, man. Marcus Finch, 5. Don't forget about the Brazilian shaman. The deep state pulled this false flag in Brazil, and they had a Brazilian shaman. Google it. It's crazy. I'll have to check that out. Mav Dick, imagine my shock. It was a fed up all along. Yep. John Yarbers, not on Rumble. Yeah, I look, the connection to Rumble wasn't working, so I ended up deleting the link again. I don't know why it was messed up. I did it exactly like I've always done it. But I do love Rumble. I love what they're doing. I saw that Steven Crowder signed some exclusive deal with them today, so that's huge for Rumble. Hopefully they continue to work on their AI and get that working. So, but that's great, man. Napoleon Bonaparte says, "What happened with Sports Wars? God bless you all." What do you mean? What do you mean? Sports Wars is
Did
there.
it go away?
No, it's there. I mean, Ryan uploaded multiple videos today. We did our stream on Sunday. So I don't know what specifically you mean by that, but it's there and there shouldn't be any issues with it. Grizzly Nightmare, he openly wants to oppress the First Amendment. Marshall says they are scared, desperate, and freaking out. They are attempting to spin the narrative in whatever way they can. Tyranny has no place in America. Big Raj with a $1.49 birthday sticker. Thank you. Crash Mondo, they're all on the same side, but that doesn't mean they like each other. They are all narcissists playing Game of Thrones with each other. I bet McCarthy is enjoying watching McConnell squirm. That's a pretty good point. Before a movie sucked, people only watch the news. People who only watch the news watching the January 6th footage with their mind blown. People who watched YouTube 2 years ago with ZZs, because it's like, yeah, we knew this. EHEF, worst day in history. Better hide what happened from people. Exactly. My Nerdy Home says it's Jeremy's birthday. Hi, My Nerdy Home. Patrick Todd says, I think that I think that they should have kept the J6 committee, but kick off the Dems and look into the cover-ups like Epps and let Trump give his side. Oh, they don't want to let Trump give his side. That would blow their whole narrative up right there. John Yarber says they also wanted to show people what would happen if they did it again. True. Deranged Lunatic says RIP Ashley Babbitt, the true victim of J6. Yep. John Yarber says free the POWs. Captain Haruno, many years ago, something grew inside your mother. It was you. Nathaniel Explosion. Happy birthday, Jeremy. Go get a nice Five Guys meal. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. This one, I want to highlight this one really quick because I started this one. So I saw that you said, yo, I sent you a DM on Twitter. YouTube is striking a smaller YouTubers for covering the new January 6th footage. This may interest you. I want to look into that because when I started talking about this, I didn't know what they were going to do. I'm like, are they going to, like, obviously it's a Tucker story. It's a mainstream. It's on Fox. Yeah. Fox News' YouTube channel. So I'm like, I can't see how they can do anything about that. Clearly they don't want us talking about it, but I want to look into your story and see. I did start that one when it come in because I'm like, okay, that's pretty interesting right there. So I will be definitely looking into that. And I'll talk to the Courting about it too and see what he has to say. Let me see. Lane Martinez says the Q Shaman wasn't. Oh, I got that one. Moral objection. If this makes you mad, just wait until they cheat you out of another election and use this as justification. Then you'll really be mad. That's why we all, in my opinion, just need to support Trump. Oneeb says, hey, Jeremy, did you check out the Brain Dead Woman as Baby Factory's articles? Did you email that to me or DM me? Either way, I will. I haven't looked at it yet, but I knew you were going to send that to me. So
that's
I remember you telling me about it. So yes. Riley Grant says, Joe's talking about it with Michael Malice. I got that one. Shit, he jumped on me. It always jumps on me. Eric CB912. They changed Brandon Straka. How do you say his name? I can't remember. This Brandon Straka, who wasn't even inside the Capitol with a felony. They won't touch Ray Epps with video of him instigating the event. Yeah, I remember that Brandon story. I don't remember his name, but I remember that whole story. Yep. You've got it as Staka, but I think there's an R in there somewhere. But I do remember that story. Moral objection. Did you drive anything else before a Mustang? I'm curious how you went from a Japanese Ferrari to a louder Taurus. Damn. So I have had in my lifetime, I have had 4 Camaros. This is the second Mustang, and I've had 2 300ZXs. I had the 300ZX that I sold for the one I recently sold. So I had that one for the longest. The 300ZX is an amazing car. I will say it does not take turns very like high speed turns. It's very heavy car. It's a very heavy car. It drives phenomenally though outside of that, but turns it doesn't take them wonderfully. There is nothing on the planet that sounds like a Mustang, in my opinion, if you put the proper exhaust system in it. There's just nothing that sounds like a fucking Mustang. So, yes, motherfucker, I've driven a lot of badass muscle cars and badass foreign cars. I also had an Audi TT. Audi TT is one of the best driving cars I've ever had, by the way.
Quattro? Can't beat
yes.
it.
Yes.
Can't beat it.
Phenomenal fucking driving car. Best driving car I've ever had. So yes, I know what the fuck I'm doing. And I wanted a Mustang it's not a Shelby, but it will be a Shelby when I'm done with it. I'm going to put a GT500 front end on it. It's already got custom exhaust. It's already got headers. It's already got an intake on it. I'm going to do a lot more to it. It will be you almost can't tell it's not a Shelby right now. But I did test drive a Shelby before I bought this one. This car is so much better shape than the Shelbys that I was looking at. The Shelbys I wanted were a little of my price range. My name's not Suresh. I can't afford the Shelbys that I wanted. So maybe Ripa will buy me one day. But some of the Shelbys, I was like, God damn, man. I couldn't pull the trigger on the GT500s that I really wanted. So I'll turn them out into a Shelby. But you're a car guy, Suresh. What do you got these days?
Oh, I got like 4 cars. Oh, by the way, it's a Ninja dog that is a Belgian Malinois. Titan is a Belgian Malinois. Yes. He really runs a show here. Yeah, I got another C8 Corvette now. I got the Hellcat Red Eye wide body Challenger. I got the Ford Raptor. I got the crazy Wrangler Rubicon with the 40-inch tires. I mean, I got a couple of things hiding in the warehouse. So like, I mean, I'm a car guy. I don't play golf. I don't play poker. I don't do anything else. So that's it. Work out, jujitsu, and cars. So that's it. And the little guy behind me gets to ride around in the Jeep and the Raptor. Of course, there's no room in the other cars for him. So, yeah, but like here at the house, I got the Corvettes and the trucks. Of course, the Hellcat, Red Eye, and some of the other cars have to stay at storage places because I kind of run out of room, So I need a house with like a 12-car garage.
I heard that. I've seen it too. I've seen his rides before. So, let's see. Oh, we got a 50 from Gremlin. 50. Happy birthday from one old fart to another. Keep on keeping on, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome.
I appreciate it. All right, let me show you guys. So for those that hasn't seen it, right here. So here's my new baby right here. Bam. There we go. Look at there. So yes. So it's got the Shelby rims. It's got the Shelby emblems. It's got a Shelby grill. It doesn't have the whole GT500 on it yet. It has a custom Flowmaster exhaust system. It has a Boss 302 intake on it. It's got headers on it, and it's loud as fuck. So that's my baby though. And it's mean. And it's got lowering springs on it as well. It's got fatties and skinnies. So it's got offset tires and wheels. So it's got a mean stance to it. The stance is just, it's the only thing I wanted a black car, but this one was just too good to pass up. It only had 39,000 miles on it. So
I love it.
So I couldn't pass this one up. I drove a black Shelby that was a little bit more than that car, but it had a lot more miles on it too. And it had a lot of wear and tear on it. So, so I'm pretty happy with it. I'm very happy with it actually. So, all right, where are we at? All
right, I got to run because I got to hop on another call.
Okay.
But thank you, everyone. Love everyone here. Thank you for everyone who made this freaking phenomenal. How do we have 1,700? 1,800?
Right at 18. Right at 18. Yep. Right at 18.
I love it. Thank you, all of you. Too. And Jeremy, we'll be talking soon. So
hell yeah, brother. Take it easy, man. You guys go subscribe to The Situation with Suresh. Mods, drop a link in the chat, and I'll talk to you later, buddy. All right, bye. All right, so let's go through these last few. Joe C. Roseanne Boyland was beaten to death by Capitol Police outside of the Capitol building January 6, 2021. There's videos of it. If you haven't seen it, look it up. I've seen it many times. Very graphic. Believe I've seen that one. Let's see. Jerkoff Juggernaut says the View is peak reasoning why women should only be seen, not heard. Demogeni, happy birthday, bro. Thank you. There's the Jerkoff Juggernaut becomes a member and then gives five tier 1 subs or not memberships. The Greg, free January Sixers, fire and jail Chip Kelly, make UCLA great again. Happy birthday. My birthday is tomorrow. Thank you. Hayden, what up, Hayden? Happy birthday, Jeremy. Been listening while driving home from work and my week off. Good show today, gents. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, Hayden. Thank you for all your support. The John Beck, happy birthday, Jeremy, and subscribe to Suresh. Thank you. Napoleon Bonaparte, what happened to Sports Wars live streams? Last one was Monday evening quarterback, where I can find the newest live streams. Okay, so we unlist the live streams after they're done. So we have them, but we unlist them. You could probably find them on Rumble. They're still listed on Rumble, but we unlist them on YouTube. So if you have it in your notification list, you can still find it, but we don't leave them public. So that's probably what you meant by that. So my bad. Okay. Torchwood Gal says happy birthday and Mazel Tov. Thank you. Moral objection. Cool when you get it done. Me and the Whipple Charge Challenger will be waiting for you, sir. Respect. 860 saying God sent you the old J6 footage to your D-Day Twitter inbox. All right, I'll have to look at that. Haas Bonaventure, why would any poor person buy a German car if you need to take out a second mortgage to change the oil? Well, that was the big problem with the 300ZX is they're impossible to work on, man. Like, they're impossible to work on, and it's hard to find someone to work on them. I brought my 300ZX to a local mechanic in Pensacola. They looked at me, 2 or 3 different mechanics looked at me like I brought them a fucking alien. You can't do anything under the hood of those cars because there's no room. So the labor involved with it is insane to work on those cars. A piece of peace. Roseanne Boylan was also murdered along with Babbitt. I'm going to look into that. I think I remember seeing that. Don't forget, Cobra Cast is tonight here on this channel as well. I'm going to be on Fortnite on Geeks and Gamers and my personal Twitch channel, D-Day Cobra. If you've not followed me over there, please consider doing so. And thank you guys for making this an awesome stream. This was great. I appreciate the love and support. You guys are the best, and I'm just going to keep grinding. Tuesday night's main event was a banger last night, and all of our streams are doing well. So Fortnite tonight on the main Geeks and Gamers channel. I'll be streaming my perspective over on D-Day Cobra Twitch. And then Cobra Cast later tonight, where we're going to talk more about all of this January 6th stuff. We're going to roast a bunch of these politicians and probably going to talk about this Angry Joe crap. So I just retweeted it. So Angry Joe is going at it with Young Ripa, Eric July. So Angry Joe did what every nonsensical person with TDS does. Here's Angry Joe, who Angry Joe's basically trying to say that Young Ripa, Eric July is a MAGA supporter, all because they disagree on something. So now immediately Ripa's just a fucking MAGA supporter, apparently, because that's how these clowns operate. Angry Joe has a severe case of TDS. He always has, and he always will. And no one was talking about Trump. And guess what? Angry Joe had to bring Trump into the equation because it's always about Trump. This whole thing started because people were criticizing this fat black April O'Neil. Fat black April O'Neil. All right, Ripa knows more about comics than Angry Joe will ever know. So Angry Joe screenshot a bunch of tweets and called people racist and pedos. That's what he did, and Ripa was in there. Ripa didn't take too kindly to that. So Ripa made a video basically saying, hey, if I see you in a convention or something, I'm going to confront you. We're going to talk about it man to man. So Angry Joe is now playing the victim, and Angry Joe is claiming he must be a MAGA supporter, right? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. TDS every single time. Good Lord. Unbelievable. Everybody's a MAGA supporter, apparently. And I think, I don't know if let me see if I can find Ripa's actual response. Give me just a second, because it was good. It was good. And it was funny because, like, it's not that complicated, Joe, Angry Joe. If you run your mouth, and if you call people something, guess what? People are eventually going to hold you accountable. Here's what Ripa said. And I agree 100%. This is exactly what I said to these little Star Wars YouTubers that are always talking shit about me. This is what I said to them, and this is what Ripa said to Joe.
Like I said, in the event that we're at a con, I'm going to see him and we're going to address it. That does not mean that I'm going to punch him in his fucking face. That's not what we're talking about. I am saying that I'm not one of those, I shy away from the confrontation, right? I go to Anime Matsuri or something, and I know that someone that's been saying these very foul and evil things about myself is there, and I'm going to pretend like they're not there. No. I'm going straight to your booth, and we're going to hash this out, and we're going to actually discuss this in person to see kind of where you're coming from. And best believe out of that conversation will come out a resolution. Guaranteed. Like
He's 100% right. There's nothing wrong with that. But Angry Joe is playing the fake victim. But not only is he playing the fake victim, he's also bringing Trump into it. So there you have it right there. So anyway, thank you guys. Shout out to Young Ripa. Shout out to the entire chat. I think I got a couple more super chats. Let me make sure really quick. CJ, my boy, happy birthday, bro. Thank you. Shellback TJC, thank you. Says happy birthday. Have a cupcake on me. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the new memberships. Thank you for everybody that's subscribing. Go follow me over on Twitch if you want to see my perspective on Fortnite tonight, and then Cobra Cast later tonight. And I might have some new artwork to show for the Snake Pit. Snake Pit Rise Up. Cobra Crew represent. I'll see all of you later. And I hope you guys have a great day. And also, I'm going to be on Side Scrollers tomorrow. Side Scrollers podcast around noon. I think 11 a.m. or noon. I can't remember what time it starts. So I'll be on Side Scrollers tomorrow. You can go subscribe to that YouTube channel. And then I'll be on with Legal Mindset tomorrow night on his YouTube channel. So lots of appearances from me on different YouTube channels. Looking forward to it. Thank you guys. Have a great day. And we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone. No, motherfucker. No, I never said you have to agree with my opinion. When did I ever say that? Literally, Ripa does not agree with my political opinions, and I'm backing him up. So no, I never said that. Now, have a good night, everybody. I'll talk to you a little bit later. Bye.